Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. We're continuing our discussion about ADP versus end of the season fantasy points per game expectations. This is all under the context of finding those sleepers and all this other discussion. And I think the take home is there's more people claiming things than the data suggests is out there. I will let you carry it further as to what that means. But since I'm letting you into my process, I like to understand when I stick my hand in a hole, what could be there. As a biologist, right? Is there a snake in there? Is there a mouse? What we got. It is foolish to stick your hand somewhere and you have no clue what could be there. I think it is foolish to go into a draft not understanding lots of things, but it certainly, this is part of it, an expectation of what the players that I'm looking and drafting in certain rounds have historically delivered. I understand past doesn't predict the future, but we got to start somewhere. Data points are limited in fantasy. Okay, so some people say that's bad. I'm not sure that's so, because if there were super amount of data points, I think that would mean those that could do algorithms and AI would actually have more of an advantage when you keep it somewhere in the middle. There's some art to it. There's some understanding of the science, the process, the stats, the expectations. I think that allows the human element a little bit. It is clear that at least from the studies that I'm understanding, there's Nobel Prize winner people and stuff, that algorithms do better than human gut analysis, right? Gut check, okay? As a group, okay? If you look at the, and I've talked about this before, talked about this on a podcast, there was something called the Good Judgment Project. Super forecasters, they did a book about it. I was part of that one year. It kicked my butt. I'm just, trying to predict where the value of the Russian ruble will be in 6 months. Pretty damn tough, folks. And in some ways, we're trying to predict a player in July, August, where they end up in January. This is a tough game, okay? And if you treat it like, oh, nobody can win and, this is just all random, then I think that's stopping you from getting what edge we can get. And that's what I've been trying to do. That's the mission of Science of Fantasy, is we're trying to promote the scientific process in fantasy football. Data analysis, testing hypothesis, and then see what happens, right? We're not trying to redboard. That means we know how it ended up, so we got to find data to back up that claim, right? That's the opposite of science. It's anti-science. Okay. Dr. Bush can get a little philosophical. Imagine that. PhD, right? Doctor of Philosophy and Biology. Okay. I do get a little philosophy get through my head here a little bit. Okay. But I know, having been a university professor and lectured to kids, to me, y'all were kids, being almost 65, you're all kids to me. So, been there, done that, know about, get a little boring some of the data, but you gotta just bite the bullet and make it happen, folks. If you're interested in winning, if this is just some fun stuff with, you go have some beers and barbecue and some good gumbo, I got that. I'm a Saints fan. We grew up. I understand. I understand, drinking a beer and having some good crawfish. I got that. I grew up that way, Louisiana. Okay. But anyway, I think there's something more as a biologist. I know there is. And so that's why I'm knocking out the expectations. So now we're doing rounds 9, 10, 11, 12. Looking at RB and WRs. Okay. Got more data on the QB and tight ends. Not going to do it all because, frankly, I know you're not going to. I'm running out of time. Okay. I'm trying to draft what I'm trying to do. I'm, going to the Fantasy Football Expo in August. I got a lot of stuff happening, Got yard work to do. Got dogs to figure out. Got my wife and daughter to figure out what the hell they're doing every day. And it can get you going here. And of course, I'm teaching this summer as well. So I'm teaching cell biology as well. Okay. Getting back. Sleepers. My hypothesis is the definition of a sleeper has to include expectations in the draft round. If your definition of a sleeper is finding a late RB or WR capable of doing, let's say, 19 fantasy points per game, historically, it's not there. Though that's a unicorn, folks. It's not there. Okay, you just need to realize that this idea that I'm going to go hunting and I'm going to get the big fish, the big animal. It's just not there. It's not there, and you need to dial back what it is as far as that overall expectation. So I'm trying to get a realistic expectation. It's the whole concept of reference class forecasting. So let's look at 97 to 108, RB in blue, WR probability and RB probability. So this is the percentage of the population last 4 years in this draft round. We're talking less than 10% of the RBs and WRs are 16 to 19. That's damn good at this level, 9th round. Most of them are still falling. For WRs are falling about 50%, are still falling 11 to 16. Again, if you don't know who to pick, if you default to a WR, you have a nicer chance of getting a WR in this range. RB about 40%. Okay. But you see, you grab that, but look what can happen. You could be over here 8 to 11 versus 11 to 16. So that can really, just WRs are a lot more successful here. Okay. It really is. Getting towards the 10th round here. There's no RBs been found last 4 years above 11 fantasy points, folks. So right here, it is rare. You're going to find WRs versus RBs. Research then what and who and how and why those WRs are showing up this late. I think you're going to have a better shot at finding a wide receiver sleeper in these rounds than an RB. With that said, we'll skip to 133, 144. 25% of the RBs in that range have come home. Nice. So you ask me, well, Dr. Bill, why we have a little bit here, nothing there, but we got something there. Well, it's data points, scattering of the data. But I think the take home is it's much rarer, 3-4-fold less than your chance of a WR. So, who are these folks? How did they get here? How were they missed? Okay, so we got some research to do. Okay, again, 10th and 11th, a lot alike. A lot alike as far as the upper. You're getting some WRs there for you here and there. Was this about 20, 30%? This is about 30% each way. So a third of the WRs here and here are delivering much better than the RBs in that realm. Much better. A third. It's not too bad. Again, I would argue that the metrics, the evidence that we need to declare an RB, not just, what happened, but actually go hunting for that. Now realize that if we do that historical, we're backfitting the data. I know, but that's the art side of it. We still need to know what's what, but just be aware that you can backfit and trick yourself. Okay, you can trick yourself on the data. As far as sucky players, RBs, look at here, about 25-30% are getting you almost nothing, 0 to 5 points. Wow, did you blow up? So the odds of blowing up under is about, 20, almost half the RBs are going to be extra sucky. About half the RBs here, extra sucky. Definitely half are going to be extra sucky. Here, there is a little light, less than extra sucky, a little bit better. Okay? So again, defining your expectations versus the WRs. Look at that. Half the WRs are returning 50%, 11 points or better. That's not bad, folks. My confidence on getting overlooked WR is much higher here. Okay, I'm going to have the hard copies of each draft round if you want to take a look. You can look at the box and whisker distribution. You can look at the actual data here a little bit, see what you're getting. See what the proportions are here by the frequency charts. And I've got that for all the rounds here. Okay. And I haven't done the tight end or the RB. There's some other, QBs. There's some stories there. I would take my time and look through there and understand the floor and the ceiling concept for sure. So add that to my expectations. Okay. Wearing out on this subject, I've got to move on. The reason I do this in a selfish way is this makes me do the data. By me presenting the data, I get the advantage. I've actually have to go through it and think about it. So I become a better drafter. So that's yes, what's in it for me. That's what's in it for me. Makes me stronger, right? Doesn't kill me, makes me stronger. Okay. One day, you hear that saying, well, if it doesn't kill me, I get stronger. There's actually a caveat to that. I could give you an example and you would realize that's really not real, but that's okay. I'll say that for another funny day. Okay, it's Dr. Bush for the process. He's rambling on an afternoon in July. It's effing hot down here in Arkansas. Let me tell you, it is 90 something degrees outside. We're roasting down here. Okay, y'all take care. Come back. I'm going to move on to other things. Later.